Hey guys, we are now on question 28 of 9.2, still dealing with area of polygons. But fortunately here we have area of a parallelogram, and this is really nice because parallelograms are nice to work with. We love the nice relationship that happens. So what we see is we have a height of 6 units and a corresponding base of 7 units. Now, what's really great about parallelograms is that tells me that both bases are going to be 7, and from there, the angle at which I draw my parallelogram doesn't really matter, because when I have a parallelogram, regardless of what angle it's drawn at, if I took the triangle, the right triangle on the edge there, like if I dropped this line, if I cut off that end of the parallelogram and drug it to the other side, it would fit perfectly and make it a rectangle. So because of this relationship, our parallelogram area, just as simple as a rectangle, is just your base times your height. So what we see here, since I know the base is 7 and the height is 6, that actually tells me that the area is just 7 times 6, or 42, units squared. Now the problem is that's not what this problem actually asks. So let's read on to see what the problem actually asks. What is the area of each triangle formed when one diagonal of the parallelogram is drawn? Alright, then what is the area of each small triangle formed when 2 diagonals are drawn? So that would bring up the discussion of, well, what happens when a diagonal is drawn? Well, here I have this green diagonal drawn right here, and if I go ahead and shade in that region, and we ask, what does that region look like relative to the entire parallelogram? Hopefully you start to see that it looks like it's half of it. It's just like the bottom left half, or whatever you would want to say. It's half of our parallelogram, which means it's going to take up half of the area. Sorry, my screen's trying to focus there. Let's see if I can get it. There we go. Alright, so it's that bottom half is my green shaded portion. So my green area is going to be half of that parallelogram area. So I'm going to say half of A sub P, area of the whole parallelogram. So I know that's kind of hard to see, so I'll go ahead and write in pen again. So we have area of, well, we'll just leave that as A right now. Area is going to be half of the area of the parallelogram. Area of the parallelogram is 42. So we get that the area of this space is going to be 21 units squared. Now moving on from that, it asks about that next diagonal. So if we draw the other diagonal connecting B to D now, we can see that diagonal would also cut the parallelogram in half, but now it's cutting half of half, because if I shade in the region that is the small triangle formed there, then it's going to be just that, which you can see is half of the green section, or we can really just relate it to being 1/4 of the entire parallelogram. So since we know it's 1/4 of the entire parallelogram, or half of this section, we can just then, again, divide this by 2 and say the area of the smallest triangle, so I'm going to say A sub S, the area of the small triangle formed, it's going to be 21 divided by 2, which comes out to be 10.5, and always make sure you have a label. So we will say units squared, since we do not know what units we're working in. Hopefully that alleviates any issues that you were having on that 9.2 homework, but if you have any other questions, comments, or concerns, please do not hesitate to ask me. I will get things posted just as quickly as I can. Keep working hard and have a great day.